Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most iconic existentialist novels of all time, The Stranger by Albert Camus. You could call it a cornerstone of 20th century literature, but more importantly, it's a book that still resonates deeply with readers today. Whether you're new to existentialism or a seasoned reader, this book offers a fascinating look at how individuals navigate life's absurdities. And honestly, who hasn't felt a little bit lost in the face of the sheer of existence? In this video, we'll explore 5 powerful ways The Stranger reflects modern existentialism. So, grab a coffee, sit back, and let's get started. Number 1. The Stranger revolves around the core existential idea of absurdity. And we're not talking about something being silly, but rather the fundamental disconnect between our human desire for meaning and the universe's utter indifference to us. Camus isn't afraid to present the world as irrational, indifferent, and ultimately meaningless. And who better to embody this than Meursault, our protagonist? From the very first pages of the novel, we see Meursault confront life without searching for a higher meaning, which is pretty unusual for a main character, right? His lack of emotional response to his mother's death might seem shocking at first, but it's precisely this detachment that makes him such a potent symbol of the absurd hero. Meursault doesn't try to sugarcoat things or pretend he understands when he doesn't. He accepts life as it is, with all its messiness and lack of inherent purpose, and that's kind of radical when you think about it. The Stranger takes aim at traditional moral values. Morality isn't inherent, it's a social construct. But what happens when those constructs crumble? Meursault's lack of guilt is shocking. It forces us to question right and wrong. Is it black and white or grey? Meursault lives by his own code, echoing existentialist views on morality. This is why The Stranger is still relevant. Chapter 3, Freedom and Responsibility. Now this is where existentialism gets really empowering, but also a bit daunting. Existentialism asserts that we are free to make our own choices, to forge our own paths. But with that freedom, and this is the catch, comes the weight of responsibility. We can't blame society, our parents, or the universe for our choices. We own them entirely, and Meursault, in his own way, embodies this. He exercises his freedom throughout the novel, but what's striking is his refusal to rationalize or justify his choices. He doesn't make excuses, he doesn't try to shift the blame. He takes responsibility for his actions, no matter how indifferent he appears. And that's a powerful statement. His existential freedom lies in living authentically, even if that authenticity is misunderstood by society. He teaches us that true freedom means embracing the consequences of our actions, even the uncomfortable ones. Alienation and isolation are major themes in existentialist thought, resonating deeply in our hyper-connected yet isolating world. In The Stranger, Meursault is detached from the world around him. He's emotionally disconnected from friends, family, and society. He exists in a bubble of detachment, reflecting existential isolation. This isolation allows him to confront the absurdity of existence. And finally, number 5, Meursault's ultimate acceptance of the absurd. This is where The Stranger goes from being a fascinating character study to a truly profound work of art. In his final moments, as he faces execution, a consequence of his own actions, of his own freedom, he fully embraces the absurdity of life and death. There's no grand epiphany, no sudden understanding of the universe's secrets. There's just acceptance. Camus suggests that once we stop searching for external meaning and embrace the absurd, the inherent meaninglessness of it all, we can actually live more freely. It's in letting go of the need to understand, to rationalize, that we find a different kind of peace. For Meursault, this comes as a revelation. Life is meaningless, but that's what makes it so profoundly free. He dies with peace, having accepted his absurd fate, and it's a powerful message, even if it's not always an easy one to swallow. So there you have it, 5 ways The Stranger reflects modern existentialism. It's a book that challenges us to confront life's absurdity, question societal norms, and ultimately find freedom in accepting the meaningless nature of existence. It's a book that stays with you long after you've finished reading it, prompting you to look at the world and your place in it a little differently. If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend diving in. It's a short but impactful read that will definitely leave you thinking.